Hey everybody, Cinephile Mike here. We are in Season 4 of Award Season Reviews, counting down to the 98th Academy Awards with 98 reviews in 98 days. Quick reminder, if you don't want to miss any of them, you know what you got to do. Click that subscribe button. They're all coming your way. So, new week, new theme. We looked at some amazing international non-English language films, and a couple of which are sliding right into this week, Documentary Week. I'm going to be talking about 7 documentaries, all of which are shortlisted for the Oscar. And as we move through this week, we're going to see who makes it, because those nods are going to be released halfway through the week. Very exciting to see. First up, I am talking about Magnolia Pictures' Folktales. Directed by Heidi Ewing and Rachel Grady, the film premiered at Sundance about a year ago before having its domestic run over the summer. Roughly 200 miles above the Arctic Circle sits one of several Folktales. I'm sorry, the language is not my my number one. But specifically, we are looking at Pasvik Folk High School. Now, this is one of several non-traditional high schools in the academic sense, but rather a life skills-based program designed for young adults who have either completed high school or stepped away from it and are trying to figure out what's going to come next. Students from around the world travel to one of these schools for a gap year before entering the real world, where it focuses on independence, self-discovery, and a cultural exchange in an informal setting. At Pasvik Folk High, one of the central skills taught is how to care for and work with sled dogs, using them to traverse the unforgiving but beautiful Arctic landscape. In this stunningly shot documentary, directors Heidi Ewing and Rachel Grady introduce us to 3 such students and chronicle a year in their lives. There's Heidi, a 19-year-old from Norway who has experienced personal tragedy and struggles in crowded social environments. She simply wants space to breathe. Then we have Bjorn Torre, also 19 and from Norway, who grapples with social awkwardness and self-awareness. He admits that people often describe him as nice but annoying, and forming lasting friendships is a challenge. And then finally is Romain, an 18-year-old from the Netherlands, a high school dropout living with severe social anxiety and low self-confidence that makes everyday functioning a little bit difficult. We check in with each of them as they learn dog care, navigate the landscape, and experience a quieter life removed from some of the constant noise and expectation. Now, over the course of the year, we witness moments of progress, regression, and genuine hardship. The students learn to care for the dogs, start fires in sub-zero temperatures, and develop basic survival skills removed from technology and distraction. Along the way, bonds form between students and dogs, teachers and peers, and occasionally with one another, underscoring just how vital human connection truly is. But the experience is not without its breaking points. The year brings real emotional and physical lows, and not everyone who begins the year may necessarily make it to the end. From a purely visual standpoint, Folktales is often breathtaking to the point of distraction. Director of photography Lars Erlend Tubas Olmo and cinematographer Thor Edvin Eliasson, they capture the Arctic landscape with such awe-inspiring beauty, from endless snowfields to the northern lights shimmering across the sky, that the images occasionally overpower the narrative itself. The film is so visually arresting that there are moments where the scenery pulls focus away from the stories unfolding within it. And while that beauty is undeniably a strength, it also becomes one of the film's central challenges, as the visuals sometimes eclipse the emotional through line that we're meant to be following. That sense of distance extends to the human subjects as well. While the film introduces us to 3 students and offers some limited talking head moments, much of what we learn about them comes through observational footage rather than deeper personal insight. We watch them work, struggle, and bond, but we don't always feel fully invested or invited into their inner lives. As a result, forming a strong emotional connection with the students can be difficult. Interestingly, the sled dogs emerge as some of the most engaging presences in the film. Through their care, training, and interactions with the students, we develop a clearer sense of relationship and responsibility with them. It raises an interesting question about the film's focus. Is this story ultimately about the kids, the dogs, or the experience itself? At times, it feels like Folktales is trying to hold all three equally, and in doing so, spreads itself a little bit thin. Where the film, though, I will say consistently excels is in its atmospheric and thematic framing. T. Griffin's score is exceptional, it's haunting, it's meditative, and it's perfectly attuned to the vastness that we see on screen. They also made a decision to weave Norse mythology, particularly a story of Odin, into the film's structure. It kind of bookends, and it's a smart and effective choice, offering that mythic framework for the personal transformations that are taking place. And despite its limitations, Folktales succeeds in highlighting the importance of alternative programs like this one. As one student astutely notes, there's a misconception that being a teenager is easy or idyllic, when in reality, it's often one of the most difficult periods of life. By shining a light on a program that has existed for nearly 2 centuries, the film reminds us why spaces for reflection, growth, and unconventional learning are not just valuable, they're necessary. Now, let's talk box office and awards. As of this recording and posting, the film had a small box office take of $129,358 domestically, $1,483 internationally, for a worldwide take of $130,841. Critically, the film has an 85% tomato meter from 53 reviews, but with less than 50 audience reviews, there's no popcorn meter to report. Award season-wise, very small. The film to date only posts 3 nominations. It was a Best Documentary nominee at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Film Festival, and 2 nods for Oimo and Eliasson cinematography, 1 from the Critics' Choice Documentary Awards, and it is still in the running for a win in this category, documentary category, for the American Society of Cinematographers. As for the Oscars, could it get one of the spots from the shortlist? I'm not sure. While there's still a couple that I need to see, this one's not a bad film, but of the ones I've seen, this one doesn't seem as strong. That said, though, Grady and Ewing have Oscar history. They were nominated in this category in 2007 for their film Jesus Camp. So I guess we'll see. For me, although visually stunning, because of the thinness in the line of what we're following, this is a good middle lane 3-star film. I personally needed a little more from it, but what do you think? Let me know. If you would like to watch Folktales, it is currently available for digital rental or purchase on most platforms. No streaming information right now. All right. Thank you for joining me for episode 43 of Award Season Review Season 4. We're going to be doing this every day for the next 55 days, so make sure you stay with me. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, drop your thoughts in the comments. You can follow me everywhere on social platforms, on Letterboxd, and of course, head over to cinephilemike.com for even more reviews and movie goodies. I'll be back tomorrow with the next review, but until then, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.